what is the purpose of continuing to put guest hosts on? I mean, it's been hit and miss. Now, let me talk about some of the good ones. I mean, I certainly enjoyed $1 Million Man. Indeed, who else springs to mind? I mean, one or two of those movie tie-in randomers, they were okay, I suppose, but how relevant were they to wrestling? I mean, once you get past Ted DiBiase and one or two of the other legends who hosted it, it didn't really mean much to me. I mean, I'm just not interested in that celebrity connection. I know Vince likes to put those guys on TV, but I just don't think it's for me.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of awful ones too. David Hasselhoff was pretty funny, and I think anyone wrestling related was funny and really good. But Bob Barker was another one I quite liked. Don't ask me why. I don't know the first thing about the guy. Only that he hosts some show in the States. But this chap Ashton, whatever his face is, I think that with publicity like that, they kept putting over the Twitter thing and the 5 million Twitter followers. So I'm sure he mentioned it on his Twitter at some stage that he was going to be hosting Raw. And if you've got an output like that with that many followers, I'm sure Vince is thinking the same thing. Yeah. But I think he did a good job. I think he did a good job hosting Raw. And I'm sure he's into the product too, unlike a lot of them, which always helps.
Oh, I agree. He did do a good job this week, and he's actually a good example of probably more of a celebrity type. I mean, I'll be honest, he's had his time. He had the Punk'd and he had the few shows, and I know he had maybe, you know, a couple of movie roles and this and that, but I feel like at the moment he's a guy whose celebrity is waning a bit. And let's be honest, if you're going on to Raw, you're probably being booked for lesser fee than a Hollywood movie. I mean, that goes without saying, but I think it's not the best sign of a hugely successful Hollywood career, because we know, I mean, Hollywood is not going to associate with professional wrestling.
Yeah. Excuse me. This is it. I don't know about some of the tie-ins they do. I mean, this one's going to be, especially with the show that's in it, with all the brands crossing over coming up, the 3-hour special with the A-Team, or the new A-Team version 2.0. I don't know how that's going to go, but again, I haven't seen the movie or the trailer, so they could be pretty fun. But you'd still wonder, you know.
Yeah, I wonder why. I mean, I really thought last week that it was done. I thought that they were going to stop it. I just thought, let's just get back on the road again. You know, you use these ideas and, you know, maybe they just can't see a way out of this. I mean, maybe they feel like that's an integral part of it and that they need that to fill up the card. But how many of these guys have literally waited till the last segment, apart from maybe 20-second, 30-second vignettes, to actually come out and do something in the arena? I mean, you could film them on another day and they wouldn't even have to be there. So, I mean, I think if you're going to do it, keep it wrestling. I mean, there's got to be dozens and dozens of legends, like guys like Virgil, who are sitting out there that they could just stick on for 1 week. But the unfortunate thing is they're probably arguing with half of them.
Yeah, I think David Otunga worked well actually as well. He was pretty good. I think once you're good on the mic, then you can get it home. But yeah, as you said, a lot of those guys didn't even come out from the back, just stay in the back doing the thing, and that's not really much of a guest host situation. You'd like to see them come out and get whatever it is, the cheap pops, or really get a lot of heat in some cases, but sitting in the back isn't going to really do much for anybody. Yeah, it's going to be, I don't know how long it's been going on for quite some time now. You gotta wonder if, you know, it's making really that much of a difference to ratings. They always kind of fall in around the trees, don't they, for the most part?
Yeah, it stays there, and it's almost something that you just can't see growing. I mean, maybe back in the day, people talk about the 7s, 8s and 9s they would have gotten, but people forget there was only a handful of cable channels. I mean, now we've got hundreds, the internet and everything else. So there's so much of a challenge in terms of ratings to keep them up high. You know, they're not going to ever go back to what they were because there's just too much media out there. I mean, it's just not possible.
Very good point. Very, very good point.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. I mean, it's something that I'd like to see finished. I think they need to really either pick guys who are gonna maybe, connect with us, and thinking about it in terms of the worst ones, because that's what we want to talk about, really. There's good ones, but we all talk about the bad things. I mean, I'd say least favorite, I think the worst, it could have been Jewel and her husband, or
oh boy, yeah, that was bad. Now that was bad stuff.
Yeah,
bad stuff. What was that guy's name? Not Toby Keith.
It wasn't. He's too big for it, I think.
All right. I can't remember the dude's name. He was. Words can't even describe how bad the two of them were. Especially that guy, whatever his name is. Awful stuff. Awful. Who gives a fuck about those people,
Yeah. I mean, we don't know in Ireland. We've heard of Jewel, but this other guy, these country singers, I mean, they just don't get to play here, Somebody could have it. Wasn't it Ty something or other? I'm sure we could find that out with a Jewel wiki, but we'll try that in a second. And other ones, I would say, I mean, the worst of the worst, Reverend Al Sharpton. Now, this is a guy who, I've no issue with this guy's politics. I don't know enough about them today. I mean, I certainly had more of an idea of what he was about many years ago. I'm sure it hasn't changed much. But he was such a self-publicist. I mean, they all are. But at least work that you're not. I mean, work that you're interested in it. If you're not interested in any way, I mean, I just don't see why they're going to get you on. I preferred to see even though he wrecked it with the sidekick, I mean, Jeremy Piven, or a guy like that, he looked excited to be there. I mean, he ran out to the ring and got up on the top rope. I mean, that's the kind of excitement you need to get it over, I think. Yeah,
you like to see the excitement and people coming in, even if it's for just the one show, which it is anyway, but coming in and just having fun and enjoying themselves, and people even way over that kind of demographic age wise, like that Bob Barker guy. I mean, he was kicking it that Raw. It was funny, and people popped out big time for him. So
yeah, and that was amazing. I mean, I know in America he'd be quite well known, and we've got our counterparts here, but I mean, The Price is Right would have had a totally different presenter in every country. I mean, but yeah, I mean, the name is well known, and certainly worldwide. It has a bit of pull, but like I say, like Jewel's husband and like a Bob Barker, it's also got to appeal to everybody in the world. I mean, they forget that sometimes. TNA forget that a lot more. That you can't just put Pac-Man Jones on there and expect us to know who he is.
Yeah, I mean, really, yeah, you can't. But you see it from the other side when they do a Raw from the UK and they throw somebody like
Ricky Hatton.
Ricky Hatton, there you go. There's a perfect example. And a lot of the Americans might be going, who is this fucking ugly fucker, So
yeah, he is not, I suppose, training at the moment because, wow, he didn't look like Ricky Hatton to me. I mean, certainly I was worked into watching that match when he took on Money Mayweather, and indeed I sat through that whole thing, and there was a reason for that, because they built it like a very good wrestling match, and indeed it turned out to be quite interesting. But yeah, I mean, Ricky Hatton, unrecognisable, and that's another thing. I mean, if these guys are maybe unrecognisable, then you can't really put them on, can you? I mean, certainly we might know the name and all that, but how many people are going to read that stuff? They're just going to switch it on and go, who is this guy in the ring?
It just goes to show how much the focus is on entertainment now with WWE, and when they steer away from having, I suppose, past talent from your $1 million mans to anyone who's kind of involved with the business per se, because you got to wonder how many of the casual fans watching TV, or even people bringing their kids to the live events or whatever, would know some of these old school $1 million mans or whatever. So it's kind of it's like a 50-50 thing from both sides, I suppose. So you got to think of it like that sometimes too.
Yeah, that's certain, and I've sort of reminded myself of that more lately. I mean, that E at the end of WWE and the entertainment, it's so part and parcel with it now. And I mean, let's be honest, that's the way that it's just going to continue. I mean, since WrestleMania 1, we've had the celebrity involvement, so yeah, it's nothing new. But certainly having it on TV every week also maybe damages it a bit. I mean, you know, it's always special, I suppose, when you get the right celebrities at a WrestleMania. So I think now they've done celebrities for the next 10 years. I mean, unless they get someone really, really big. But guest hosts, will they continue? I, you know, think that they could do without it.